All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is PokeEye here. I kind of want to just talk to you guys about what I plan on investing throughout June, and then like maybe some long-term plays too. But I'm gonna keep it very simple because I have some short-term plays and I got some long-term. And then first thing we're gonna talk about is this Chaos Rising booster box cases. As you can see here, the price of like $1,400. My goal is to get like 1350 and less. I bought two at that price, which comes out to be about 2000 not 2000 $225 per box. But I'm mostly focusing on just actual cases. I want to keep things very simple and easy. It already, by doing that, it puts it over the price range of over 1,000. And so if I want to send this off in Probe Steam or something similar, I get a higher payout for that. So it makes it super simple, and you're able to stack these a lot easier too. But I think a lot of people slept, or I want to say slept. This is a mid set. Everyone knew it was going to be a mid set, but I just don't think people thought that this would be as popular as it was. And you can see like the volume's kind of crazy, it's slowing down a little bit, but it was still just crazy overall. But what I do is I actually just go to TCG like once in the morning, once in the evening, and I just see what pricings are up here, and then I see because what happens is someone eventually will undercut these prices on here, and then I just kind of snag those when those kind of pop up. So you just want to kind of check it periodically to get some really good deals, and because that's how I got the 1350. Um, when that popped up, and that was like a couple of days ago. The other thing that I think people are not really paying too much attention to, that I think are good long-term and super short-term investments, are Chaos Rising Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. You can find these locally on Facebook for about 170, 180. I bought three of these so far, one at 170 and two at 180. And I turned down one, and I have another one lined up if I have the opportunity to get, but we'll see if I decide to get that. But my thought process with this box is different from the regular one, right? So it stands out more. So it makes it more exclusive, and it's already got the Pokemon Center stamp on it. The other thing is people really underestimate how popular Greninja is. He's super popular amongst kids, super popular amongst like teenagers and like people in their early 20s. And then of course, I just found out he's super popular in Japan too. If you're in this bull market, things tend to go up pretty fast after it's been released, right? So short term, I think that there's going to be some upside to this, especially if you compare it to other mid-size like sets, kind of like Mega Evolution or something like that. Or what's another one? A City in Flames. Like I think looking at those gives you a good estimate of maybe what you could possibly expect from a mid-tier set like this when it comes to Pokemon Center Stamp. But I also think if your goal is like 2 to 4 years, I don't think this is a great thing to invest in. But if your goal is like 5 and then 10, 15 plus years, like I think that's where this starts to stack up and starts to be more of a better opportunity, because you have to think when you're ready to sell these things, it's cool to buy things that you like, right? Because it's if you like it, it goes up in value, and then that's cool. But like if your goal is to be like a good investor, you also have to think about like who are you going to sell this to, right? And if you understand who's going to be up next to buy this, then that's who you're going to sell it to, right? So when these kids grow up, they're going to want to, buy things that fulfill their nostalgia, their time, and Greninja is that Pokemon. And so if you have a really, really long-term mindset, I think that these are going to hit really, really well in the future. All right, and then a couple more things. Prismatic Evolution is it's a really great product, right? It's got all the evolutions, and people hate it, so I love it. But I do the same thing with this. I just go to TCG a couple of times a day, just look at the pricing. Right now, it's like 1,900. I bought one today for 1,750, and actually included shipping. Same thing. You eventually just kind of see it pop up, and then you just kind of just snag it. There's one now for 1,800 that's open. I do so here's my thing. So when I first got into the space around like September of last year, I started buying loose ETVs around like December for Prismatic. Lowest one I got was like $90. Most of them around $100. Um, so I have a lot of loose ETVs, like probably like 20 plus. But I learned after a while, it's like just buying a case just makes things very simple. It's easy to stack. You don't have to worry about the plastic of the wrapper ripping or any of that stuff. So it just makes things a lot more simple. So my goal is mostly just like cases, one for the price point, but two, just that extra layer of protection too. It just makes things a lot easier. And then I just throw these in storage. And then my other thing is too, I don't really think the price point matters too much if you're comparing loose ETBs to the case. I think a lot of people get hung up on that and looking at the premium that gets put on the case. Because I've also realized, like, long term, it gets to a point where the premium on the cases don't really matter anymore, and because it doesn't really show. Mainly because I think the displayability of these kind of disappear even more, and people don't really care about that. And so the premium, I don't really think matters. Like, you could buy this. That's a pretty good deal. It's already open, but it's easy to stack, simple, and if there's no tears in this, like, that's I think that's fine. Like, I think that overall it's gonna be fine. You also have to think too, like, the premium's already baked into this, so like, does it really matter overall if you're doing like a long term investment? Not really. So sometimes I think we compare, or at least I hear influencers compare like cases to like loose ETBs, and I don't think they should do that because it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, if you can get a case at the price that you got in ETB, that's probably a steal, but like realistically, I don't think it really matters. So that's my goal when it comes to that too. So I'll just check that and keep buying these. This is a long term play. This is not something I plan on flipping anytime soon. So next year I'll probably get rid of some when maybe this goes out of rotation. But right now they keep printing the heck out of this, so I just keep buying it. All right, and then Prismatic Super Premium Collection case. Same thing with this. My price goal with this is around 1100. I haven't bought any from TCG, to be honest. I bought my cases from eBay. It has made it to that pricing, but I didn't buy it when it was down here. I think I was hoping it would go down a little further, and it never did. Um, it would be cool if they had pictures of it, but they don't. Even though the box for this is actually terrible for the case. But anyway, I think this is really going to be a good play too. These interesting about these two because like the at this point a lot of the Sam's Club drops are coming out now. So like I'm starting to see these pop on Facebook too. So I do buy the single ETBs, or I guess super premium collections of these for those people too. So a good price point for those. I'm always looking for anywhere between 260 to 280, something like under 300. I might actually start buying from GameStop too. If it gets really dry and I start seeing the price creep up a little bit, because GameStop's selling for like 300, but you gotta pay tax, so it's kind of annoying with that too. But anyway, that's my goal when it comes to that. I've noticed too, people like products where people get two of things, they just tend to open one and then just sell the other to recoup their losses. So I think a lot of people think people are collecting sealed, but like they're definitely not. A lot of people when I go these when I do these trade offs with these people, they'll just tell me their story of like what it is they're doing, and a lot of people are just opening one and selling the other, or gambling with both of them. Like Pokemon cards right now, people have a really deep gambling addiction right now. And then what I'm doing is gambling too, right? It's probably even more riskier because it's like I'm waiting to see what happens instead of just like finding out what happens immediately when it comes to like holding on and then selling later. All right. Other thing we're talking about is the Sentiros. Um, Everyone's favorite, right? And so because it's everyone's favorite, I don't really care for it anymore. It is a great set. I'm not saying it's not a great set. It's just not something I'm going to be investing in at this price point. I've already got one case at 1100 before I did all this crazy stuff, and I have 8 loose ETBs too in boxes. But I think this one's going to be really tricky. I've seen and heard about Destined Rivals, how everyone thought that was going to get a reprint, but it's never got the reprint that it needed because they keep focusing on Prismatic. At this point, if they keep focusing on Prismatic too much, this is going to start to be a problem too. So we'll see. But the volume is kind of slowed down on this too. I think this price point, people are kind of shutting down on this. And then also, I think most of this is just from Chaos Rising. I don't think people thought the Chaos Rising would be as big as it has been. It's a cheaper pack right now, right? This is pretty expensive. New shiny objects in town right now. So this, if you're gonna buy this, maybe 1800 is probably a good price point if you're gonna see if you can snag one. But realistically, I really think it's a toss up. Like you can try to go for it, and just if it's high risk or reward. I think the best play is probably just to wait for a reprint and then just buy when a reprint happens. But at this point, who knows? All right, and then lastly, what I want to talk about is just the celebration hyper rares that are coming out. I forgot what it's called. I don't know, futuristic things. What it's called. A lot of people hate these. So again, anything people usually hate that seems really popular, I think that's what I'm just gonna like do the opposite. I'm just going to invest in those types of things. I do think they do look weird, but I got a good strong feeling that these are going to look really well or really good like in person. And even if they don't, if you just look at how unique these cars look, they're going to have so much, especially if these are really rare, they're going to have like a premium on these. Good examples too is like the Mew and the 151 UPC. Like people didn't really like that card, but that card actually looks really, really good. And look at that pricing of it now. It's like almost $1,000 on a PSA 10. So people are definitely hating on these cards. I think they're going to sleep on these cards, but I think these are both going to do massively well, especially if you really think about the logistics of like how PSA is like backed up and all the other slab companies are backed up too. Like these are going to have an immediate premium when people realize how rare and hard it is to get it in the grade that they're actually looking in. But anyway, that's my thought process when it comes to what I plan on buying and investing in June. If you like to follow me on my journey, consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 100. That would be very nice. But either way, I'll see you in the next one. Go touch grass. Peace.